Okay, so we're live there. So a very good evening to the guests, Honorable Dr. Justice Jai Sir, Honorable Mr. Justice Vijay C. Daga sir, Mr. Naveen Kumar Murthy sir, Mr. Shubhankar sir, and the audience watching us live. I am Riddhi Jindal, Chief Operating Officer at Law Internships Online Law School and host for today's ceremony. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome everyone at the panel for the valedictory ceremony of the second LI National Moot Court Competition 2022, organized by Law Internships Online Law School and in association with the Thurber Legal LLP. I would like to give a little introduction about our organization. Law Internships Online Law School started off with a vision to help law students achieve their dream internship with top-notch lawyers, law firms, corporate bodies, and as such. We strongly believe that true internship is one where students are allowed to actively participate and not just passive learning. Today, we provide opportunities in the field of law to these students pursuing undergraduate and postgraduate programs. We also assist them at every turn to gain professional experience as well as to hone their legal skills while being enrolled in a full-time law program. It gives us immense pleasure to see that our mission to pave a path for the young lawyers to be is becoming gradually and steadily successful. We are happy to see the students who have approached us are placed under able mentors. With that, we also take pride in our vision for the full-fledged online law school, which shall provide extensively educational services. The objective is to provide a credible platform for the law aspirants who want to pursue and fulfill their educational requirements that is wholesome with practical exposure to relevant skills. I am glad to have this opportunity to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Justice Jai Sindranser, former Judge of Madras High Court. Sir was elevated as a judge of the High Court of Madras in the year 2005 and retired in the year 2017. He was an international visitor to the USA as a guest of the United States government on issues relating to human rights. He was the president, Board of Governors, Tamil Nadu State Judicial Academy, and has conducted numerous international, national, and regional conferences. He has been given the Lifetime Achievement Award by Savita University, Chennai, in recognition of his exemplary contribution to the society in the field of law. He's also designated as a senior advocate of the Supreme Court of India. We welcome you, sir.
Thank
you. I would like to invite Honorable Justice Dr. Jayachandran, sir, to please address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone present there. Our brother, Justice Vijay Daga, former judge of the Mumbai High Court. Mr. Subhank Kare, director of at Law Internship. Mr. Naveen K. Murthy, an advocate practicing not only in the Madras High Court, but in the other high courts and the Supreme Court as well. And all the participants, the students of law, and all those invitees who are out there. And of course, Riddhi, who's been of a lot of help to us right through the last couple of days. I think I've been making a number of calls to her to get things straight. This is a great opportunity for not only for you, but for us as well to interact with you and to try and share some of the thoughts that we have about not only about the moot court competition, but about law and life as well. As all of you know that advocacy is an art which has to be learned hands-on. Generally, what the moot court competitions prepare you for is to really get a feel of the real court atmosphere, and that's why probably even judges like us sit there is to judge your skills when you're doing the moot. It is, it's not an easy profession. Not here to discourage you, but then we are supposed to be giving you all the right things, plus also what you may face when you are practicing as a lawyer. You have to put in very hard work, literally what they call burning the midnight oil. But once you get to a certain stage, that is like a rocket going above gravity. Once you go up there, then it's all fun. And nobody can stop you. Usually what we say is sky is the limit, but I usually in my interaction with the students, I say even the sky is not the limit, it's the base camp. So this is how initially it's hard work indeed, but your integrity, your honesty, and sincere application of yourself in involvement with law, it's a passion. You'll have to fall in love with law. Then there is nothing to stop you from achieving your goals, and you reach the top. So there are a number of things a few things which I would like to tell you. I'm not here to give you the 10 commandments of what the do's and the don'ts. You'll be learning them hands-on as you're practicing law in future. It is said that advocacy, I quote, it is said that advocacy is not a craft, but a calling, a profession wherein devotion to duty constitutes a hallmark. Sincerity of performance and the earnestness of endeavor are the two wings that will bear aloft the advocate to the tower of success. So basically, your passion and your integrity is very, very important. I've said many times, and I'll be saying it many times over, that you will be first of all an officer of the court. Please don't consider yourself as it is first officer of the court. Secondly, you will be an advocate for your party. So you have to, in fact, when people come over to me and say, sir, you have written a very good judgment, I say, look, it is because of you. The lawyers, you do the research, then you present the best before us, the facts, the law, the case laws, and all those. Then we only apply, we do the research, of course, but basically, if a judgment is good, the judge can write a good judgment. I mean, if your help is good, the judge can write a very good judgment. Sometimes lawyers just turn up the court and say, we leave to your lordship. And then that there ends the matter, that we have to do all the homework. And that is a little difficult. So when you wake up in the morning as a lawyer, it is not that you don't train your mind to go to a war. I mean, don't prepare yourself to go to the court to involve yourself in a war. It's basically it's battle of wits. Because merit ultimately is supposed to succeed, but the presentation, the way you present your case is very, very important, because even a good case can be lost by bad advocacy. You have to be pleasant to the court. There are a number of court mannerisms, all that you'll be learning. In fact, when a senior lawyer, a well-known lawyer, is appearing, you are supposed to watch how he is carrying the court with him. We've had great people like even Mr. Govind Swaminathan, the barrister, a number of people were, when they enter the court hall, they will stand at the entrance, bow at the podium, come into the court, do whatever they have to do, argue the case. When they are leaving again, they will stand at the entrance of the court, look at the podium, bow, and leave. Those were some subtle things. The judges may not even see them do that, but then that's the kind of importance they give, not necessarily to the person, but to the post and the court itself. Why do they call it as a temple of justice? So, in fact, there were judges in the Madras High Court who will not go up on the podium with their shoes or chappals on. I mean, that was a kind of, demeanor that even the judges showed to the court. So earlier, of course, as you all know, it was like a Gurukulam. People used to, the youngsters, the trainees or the advocates, junior advocates will go to a senior's place early in the morning before the sun rises, and then probably come back home after the sun sets, literally living along with the senior, learning all the nuances of advocacy. Probably it's not happening these days, more or less like a 10 to 5 job. People come and ask straight away, sir, what are the timings and how much would you pay? I mean, these are the two questions they ask a senior. I mean, that's not the kind of, that's not the right way that you learn law. Of course, then you'll have to be there in the court, watching how the court reacts to each and every case. You'll be sitting in the library, learning, reading materials which probably not necessarily applicable to the case, which are, you just got to be spending more time in the library rather than the canteen. That's how we tell the students. So even your dress code, that's why we have been giving marks even to that, the poise, the style, the way you present yourself. I mean, to tell you frankly, this is again not to scare you, but there are advocates who had lost their cases because they went to the court in bail applications. I know that it has happened, that when they have a stubble on the face, go there without shaving, you lose your bail application. Or if you go the shirt not buttoned properly or not properly dressed. These things have happened, I mean, as a fact. So therefore, the way you carry yourself, the way you present to the case, the way you are courteous to the court and to the other side as well, all these things do matter. So I always say in all my speeches to young advocates, you can lose any number of cases. It doesn't matter, because you have done your best. It is for the court to decide ultimately. But never lose the court even once, which means if you rub the court on the wrong side, then that kind of impression forms in the mind of the judge. Is very difficult for you to erase it, because you will not have much of interaction with him or her personally. So it is the way you transact, the way you present your case, the way you carry yourself around, all those things which you learn right from now as a student of law and as a participant in these moods. That's why these moods are very important. Of course, it's been an online, and really hats off to the law interns, the entire team, that's and the Atharva LLP, which is the co-sponsor, having done a really great job, because we know how I've been a judge of a number of moods, including for those who are being cited for the JSOOPs, CWIS and Stetsons and a number of others. These are all internationally known moods, you know that. And I've been in the National Law University for about 2 or 3 days, judging the entire team, placing them at different levels some time back. So it's a hands-on learning. I would call it hands-on learning when you participate in these, but not necessarily you'll have to win all the moot courts or wherever you participate, because participation is more important. Of course, winning is nice, but then even if you don't win, it doesn't really matter. There are a number of mannerisms which you will have to learn. When you start the case, you say, "May I please, my lords?" Why do you say, "May I please"? It is because then the judge says yes, that means he's giving you permission to start talking. And then at the end of it, you say, "Much obliged." Why do you say much obliged? Even if your case is dismissed, you say much obliged with a smile. You can't. Much obliged is because the judge spent time listening to you. He was courteous, he was nice, so much obliged for having heard the case. These are all small things which I'm sure even if the college doesn't have, we have something called the ethics and etiquette. I think you probably have it in your syllabus. But beyond that, these are small things you will be learning, watching the proceedings in the court of law. So there are these, that's why this court visit, I think it's part of your curriculum. Court visit not to get some marks in that particular subject which is allotted to you, but to really go there and watch people performing, especially the senior advocates who are well trained in court mannerisms and law, see how they perform and see how the court reacts. I mean, that's how the court works in real time is something which you'll have to be there and learn. And probably that is one thing you are learning when these moot courts are being conducted. And Lord Macmillan, he says the duties of an advocate are fivefold. He says, in the discharge of his office, I quote, "In the discharge of his office, the advocate has a duty to his client, a duty to his opponent, a duty to the court, a duty to himself, and a duty to the state. To maintain a perfect poise and keep a balance amongst the various and sometimes conflicting claims is a task not free from difficulty." So it is, that's why we said it is difficult. These are nuances that you learn either from your senior, you are attached to, your colleagues who are there, and by watching the proceedings in the court. So it is called a jealous mistress. Law is a jealous mistress, which means for your full attention to be shown to this subject of law, because it is not just reading law, understanding law, the citations. Law is not exactly what is seen in print, the statute. Law is also as it is interpreted by the courts of the, especially the higher courts of law, the High Court and the Supreme Court. So when you are good, I mean, there is nothing to stop you, as I said. But what has been happening is 90% of the cases go to 10% of the lawyers because they have done the homework, they've come up to a particular level. So there is initial competition right at the start, but then as you pass a particular stage, there is nothing to stop you. So as I was teaching, I think they didn't introduce me as a professor of law. I've also been teaching part-time at the Dr. Ambedkar Law College in Chennai for about 16 long years continuously till I was elevated as a judge in 2005. Probably that was in the evening college when it was there. That I was one of the youngest in the classroom, but everyone was, I mean, though it may not be the right term, pin drop silence, they call it. People used to be so attentive because you'll have to make it interesting for students to listen to law, and for particularly constitutional law, which I was given. So this is, so right from the time you're learning as a student, you apply your mind, and then you have to train your mind to be analytical, because even the Supreme Court decisions, you as an academician, you can criticize. You can, like I did my law in Delhi University, the Faculty of Law, where it was what was called as the case study method. They give you printed case laws of a few kilos per semester. So we'll have to analyze those cases, and then that will be the examination will be based on that. I don't know how many of these colleges here now are following that, which is the Oxford, Yale type of teaching. So basically, you'll be analyzing and seeing why, because you'll have to see both sides of it. I think that's why your problem is when they give you the problem. I think for each round, you'll have to take the petitioner's case, argue for the petitioners. In the next round, probably you'll be arguing for the respondents. So which means you have to understand the other side's case as well, equally, so that you can, and as you are, I mean, how you look at these top lawyers when they come to the court, any question that the court asks, they are ready to answer. They will somehow make you, it's so convincing, their story is. You hear one side of the story, you'll think, oh, what a great case this is. I mean, this is how it should be. Then you hear the other side, they will literally make you think the other way. I mean, that is the kind of presentation that they come up with their experience and sheer knowledge, and the way they answer. I mean, sometimes even in the moot court, we say that my co-counsel will answer. I mean, that I pointed it out. You have to answer whatever you know, and then leave the details to the co-counsel. So these are small things which you'll be learning. In fact, when I became a judge in 2005, I was sitting there very quietly listening to one of my senior lawyers ask me, why are you looking so anxious? I said, look, as a lawyer, there was a lot of tension. It's like an examination every day. You're going to face an examination every day. There was a lot of tension. But sitting here as a judge, I have a lot of anxiety because I should do justice to every case that comes before me. That is my anxiety, I said. So tension may go away, but as a judge, anxiety will come in because you will have to do the best available. So, you know, there are lots and lots of cases pending. In fact, only 9% of the entire Indian population had seen the corridors of the courts, which means 91% of the Indian population have never come to the courts. No, we keep going and telling them, look, these are your rights. I mean, we have the Legal Service Authority, we have so many other agencies telling them, these are your rights, these are your fundamental rights. If another 10% of the population comes to the courts, simply we'll fail. Now, which means we'll have to have proper infrastructure, we'll have to use technology. There is so much of scope for you to, be as a lawyer. You not only earning money, you don't weigh yourself, your worth by the money that you get. It is how much of a service that we'll have to make sure that we reach out to those in the darker corners of this state or the nation, and to help the poor and the needy. That's very, very important, because always keep them in mind. Brother Justice Daga also mentioned, I think, that ultimately it is that kind of service that you do that is more satisfying than the money that you get. So keep that in mind. In fact, when the students after the academic year gets over, they come to me, sir, I've done very well in your subject. I was teaching constitutional law for a long time. So there, I said, in spite of us, you've done well. So we are there only to introduce you to the subject. The rest of the work you will have to do. You will have to read the lines, read in between the lines, and we say read behind the lines as well. That means you'll have to see the intention of the makers of the Constitution. You'll have to analyze as to why they've said it so and not in some other way. There are a number of things which you'll have to learn as a lawyer. So that it is not just to shoot a red light and show the policeman your visiting card. That's not the. I used to tell my juniors, if an old lady is standing at the zebra crossings, finding it difficult to cross the road because there's heavy traffic, you take her hand and make her cross the road and shout out and say you're a lawyer. That means a lawyer can also do some service without charging. So it's the wrong notion, and a lot of people are scared of the lawyers because of a few of them. The majority of them, most of them are excellent people. So to be a good citizen is more important than have any post. This is Justice Felix Frankfurter had said that. So there are a number of things I would like to tell you, but then I think been given some 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes to speak. So let me just give you a couple of quotations because it has so much of a meaning. Justice McCarty of the British, he was a British judge. He says the profession of law has two aspects. It may be regarded as a pursuit which yields, if success be gained, a reward of fees and emoluments. But it may also be looked upon as a vocation which offers the joy of intellectual achievements, which claims the allegiance of unswerving honor, which asks for the guardianship of high tradition, and which affords a wide field for loyal and generous service to the community. So what is that important ingredient which is there in every lawyer, at least should be, is that sense of service. I think even the Supreme Court top lawyers have been requested by Supreme Court, and they're doing it one free case as a legal aid to poor people who can't afford to pay the fees. I think ultimately we'll have to reach out to those, the voiceless millions of this country. I think give them the voice to reach, to get justice, inexpensive justice and speedy justice. That's very, very important. So keep all this in mind when, in fact, lawyers, there was a, this is very interesting. Lawyers' duty to society has been put in inimitable style by the president of the Association of Bar of the City of New York in the following words. Just quote this and stop. True, we build no bridges, we raise no towers, we construct no engines, we paint no pictures unless as amateurs for our own principal amusement. There is little of all that we do which the eye of man can see. But we smooth out difficulties, we relieve stress, we correct mistakes, we take up other men's burdens, and by our efforts, we make possible the peaceful life of men in a peaceful state. We may not construct the levers, pistons, and wheels of society, but we supply the lubrication that makes its even running possible. For the true administration of justice is the firmest pillar of the state. Now, this we should keep in mind right through. As a student of law and as a budding lawyer and as a lawyer of some seniority, you will have to keep this thing in mind that we are helping the society in some way. If you see, most of our freedom fighters had been lawyers because they had law as their background. That had helped them also during their freedom fight. So if you see Justice Jawaharlal Nehru's speech during the independence, say the tryst with destiny, till every tear from every eye is wiped out, our work is not over. So this we shall keep in mind. Today, this is an opportunity for you to have learned some of the nuances of advocacy and the presentation of the facts and the laws in an atmosphere which was like a court. So when you are practicing law, I'm sure you'll keep all this in mind and much more, and do the best possible for those who are in the those who deserve justice and inexpensive and expeditious justice. So thank you very much and wish you all the best. And you've done a great job by participating. And of course, there'll be just one winner, but the others also can take pride that they've done their best in whatever they did. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll keep your advice in mind and we'll definitely incorporate in our career. Thank you. With immense pleasure, I would like to introduce our another chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice Vijay C. Daga, sir, former judge of Bombay High Court. He was an advocate who, after his enrollment, established a practice in civil, constitutional, labor, banking, service, and excise matters before the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court and various other jurisdictions. Sir is currently designated as a senior advocate of the Supreme Court of India. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to invite Honorable Mr. Justice Vijay C. Daga, sir, to address the forum. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Today's chief guest, Brother Jayachandraji, Mr. Khare, Director of Law Internship, Mr. Naveen Murthy, and other dignitaries. I am extremely thankful to the Law Internship in association with Atharva Legal LPP for giving me an opportunity to be with you and to judge the moot court competition held in the morning. It was a great opportunity to me to be with the future members of the bar. Dear friends, nowadays I find, or rather even in the past, much stress is laid by educationists on the literacy and numeracy. But we hear little about the importance of being articulate. Footballers practice passing and shooting. Singers also practice audaciously. Why is it supposed that speaking comes naturally and needs no effort or concentration? Fluency and clear pronunciation are particularly important for a lawyer when our forensic practice is largely oral. Taking part in moot courts will help in this respect and also give experience in that art of persuasion and of putting a case succinctly and intelligently. Mooting not only gives students practice in the court procedure, but also helps them to develop the aplomb that every advocate should possess. Once a technical skill of advocacy have been acquired, those with more than ordinary talent and flair can go on becoming an outstanding advocate. But even the less talented can be assured of being able to do competent job as a lawyer. The technical skill can nicely be developed through moot court competitions. I appreciate the role played by a law internship in association with other legal LPP for giving opportunity to the students and for shaping the future of the bar by organizing such competitions. Dear friends, today the legal profession has become a trade. The standards of the legal profession are falling. As a matter of fact, in today's political scenario, the legal profession can play an outstanding role when the politics is going every day down and down. The legislations are passed in the parliament and assembly without any debate. Today, if anybody raises a voice of dissent, he is taken to a task either by ED, by income tax, or by any other department. And in such a scenario, the role of a lawyer becomes more important. But unfortunately, I don't find the lawyers coming forward to help the society. Having said so, I am reminded on this occasion of an anecdote concerning Justice Olive Holmes, one of the greatest judges of US Supreme Court. One day, Justice Holmes boarded a train in Washington. In the general commotion, the famous judge promptly lost his ticket. When the conductor asked for a ticket, Justice Holmes started searching for the ticket in his pocket. In a frustration, unable to find the ticket, the conductor recognized him and said, "Don't worry, sir. I know you. When you find a ticket, please mail to our company." Justice Holmes replied, "Mr. Conductor, the question is not where is my ticket, but just where am I supposed to be going?" I'm sure this question must be ringing in everybody's mind. Where are we supposed to be going? It is important for us to find out the lost ticket. It is important for the legal profession to know where are they supposed to be going. It is more important to find, especially in today's scenario, when the rule of law is at stake. Having said so, I would like to say the words about to the budding students, to the future members of the bar. Dear friends, to succeed in the profession, two virtues are indispensable, and those are industry and integrity. Mr. Parkewala once said, referring to his senior Mr. Jamshedji Kanga, that he had intellect enough to succeed without industry, and industry enough to succeed without intellect. The combination carried him ahead of everyone. Such is the importance of the industry. The other quality is one of the integrity. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said, and so rightly, and I quote, "An advocate has a prior and perpetual retainer on behalf of the truth and justice. He can never be discharged from that primary and paramount retainer's duty. All lawyers owe a duty towards their client. It is a position of trust and confidence that they must indeed perform their duty toward the court. A lawyer must not mislead either the court or the opponent." All these qualities can be acquired by the students while in the college, while participating in the moot court competition. This is a training ground for students. And in our old days, when we were the students, we did not get this opportunity to participate in the moot court because in those days, this concept was not developed. But today, I request every student, every professor to see that their students take part in the moot court competition, because this is a basic ground from where they will get the training. And this is a very good job which your institution is doing, your firm is doing, and I see a very good future. I welcome you to do, and I congratulate you for taking this task. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. I'm profusely joyed to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Naveen Kumar Murthy, sir, founder of NKM Law Chambers. is a very qualified practitioner focusing on litigation, arbitration, and corporate advisory. And he has dealt with cases which matters in the areas of corporate law, insolvency and bankruptcy code, arbitration, constitutional law, environment law, securities law, and various other laws. He regularly appears before the Supreme Court of India, Madras High Court, and other several courts and tribunals. We welcome you, sir. I would like to invite Mr. Naveen Kumar Murthy to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
A very good evening to Honorable Dr. Justice M. Jayachandran, former judge of the High Court of Madras, and Honorable Mr. Justice Vijay C. Daga, former judge of the Bombay High Court, and my dear friend Mr. Shubham, and the very bright and energetic Riddhi, who has been behind the entire event. Being almost just one speaker before the last speaker, I'm short of words because whatever you have in mind, two illustrious and senior speakers have spoken before me. And since they are judges, I can only say, my lord, I agree. But just to complement or supplement to what the honorable judges have spoken in detail about the importance of lawyers and how you will have to mold yourself to become effective lawyers in our country, I would only state two things. One is the tectonic shift in our legal profession that we came to witness on the amidst of the lockdown, where all of us who are technically used to going to courts, running from one courtroom to another, carrying big files and reading, have suddenly shifted to your computer screens or your laptop screens or your phones. And for about 2 years, the courtrooms were conducted virtually, and all of us sitting from the comfort of our homes were able to adapt, and we were able to deliver justice for the clients and the litigants. This shows that our country is a robust judiciary comprising of very effective judges and lawyers. And as Justice Daga said, there are some shortcomings which, as a system, all of us together should get together and set it all right. And I'm sure that the young lawyers who are going to come into the profession in the future should definitely take that effort. As the speakers before me have indicated, that this profession is considered to be the noblest of all professions. And if all of you have seen a little deeply, it is the only profession that is recognized in the Constitution. A doctor or an engineer is not recognized in the Constitution, but a lawyer in several parts of the Constitution is recognized. And in the last 70 years of our democratic republic, we have seen that the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary have all had very effective and towering personalities from the legal arena who have contributed much. And since the final rounds today, which Honorable Justice Jayachandran, Justice Daga, and myself and a couple of my colleagues have judged, we found something very peculiar. It was only the judges who were male participants, and the participants were only female. All the 4 speakers were female speakers, which is a great sight to see. And that probably indicates that that is the way tomorrow that our country is going to go, where we are going to have a huge influx of very efficient and energetic women as lawyers, as judges, and as members of the academy. And since we are speaking about women, all of us tend to usually compare ourselves with the West and say that the West, let it be the US or the UK, is better than us. But I must with pride say that the United States Supreme Court, which is considered to be one among the greatest Supreme Courts of the world, has so far only seen 5 lady judges or women judges out of the 115 justices they have seen. And recently, Justice Jackson has been nominated, so she would become the 6th judge. On the contrary, our Supreme Court has so far witnessed 11 women judges, out of which 3 judges are sitting today in the Supreme Court, or rather 4. Justice Indira Banerjee, Justice Hima Kohli, Justice B.V. Nagaratna, and Justice Bella Trivedi. And Justice Nagaratna is also stated to be the first Chief Justice of our country sometime in the next few years to come. This shows that as a judiciary, we have progressed much quicker than the other countries. We have had equal share. In fact, when other countries were disputing about giving adult suffrage or voting rights to women, as soon as the constitution came, there was no discrimination insofar as women is concerned. So that indicates we have traveled a long way. And the participants today, they have done extremely well. All the 4 young participants have done very well, which was particularly appreciated by Justice Jayachandran and Justice Daga. And I'm sure that they will have to follow suit of the great and towering personalities in a lighter vein, since all of us have been watching Netflix and Amazon Prime in most of our lockdown days, do catch up on two movies. One is the trial of Chicago 7, which is a very important trial in the US that has been captured beautifully. And since I've spoken about young ladies, please do watch the documentary on Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's called the Ginsburg, where Justice Ginsburg was one among the prolific judges in the US Supreme Court. And she was construed to be a woman who had a very independent thinking and contributed substantially. And I will have to share from my own experience as a young lawyer. As this is Jayachandran said, that we go through the system and we learn from the bench. In one matter, I was arguing a constitutional issue and I just sat down. It was a division bench, which was also hearing criminal matters. The judge suddenly called me and said, Mr. Naveen, will you be able to assist legal aid in a murder trial? I said that, my lord, I have not argued many murder trials and it involves the life of a man. They said, no, take your time, work out and come back. And since it was a legal aid matter, I took pride. I just worked out and I came back. And it was a case where a husband was accused of instigating and abetting the suicide of his wife. And the lady has apparently poured kerosene on herself and self-immolated. And it was presumed that it is only the instigation of the husband. But when we went in detail, it was found that the lady, when she got admitted in the hospital, made a very clear dying declaration when she got admitted that it is by mistake she poured the kerosene and by mistake the fire was lit and there was no other consequences. But about 4 days later, she was being tutored by other people and she tried to say that it was her husband. I was able to navigate through the courses and I was able to pull out this point. And the court readily agreed and said, in fact, it's a very interesting point where the dying declaration had the foot toe impression of the victim because her body was completely burnt. But the FIR that was registered 2 hours later had the thumb impression. So this suggested that there was something happening and the court took note of it and it eventually acquitted the accused. When I inquired as to what the accused was doing, he was probably studying his bachelor's degree from jail through distance education. So the ability to help a man, a poor man, who otherwise would have been put to incarceration is something that's, it's an immense satisfaction as a lawyer that you get. It is not just for money. You are considered to be social reformers. And once when you come and settle in this profession, sky is the limit. In fact, in my office, my first colleague is a woman lawyer. So I take pride in saying that it's you women who are going to dominate the future. So in light of this, I wish all the participants the very best. And I'm sure that these moot courts, as the honorable judges have said, will mold you and emotionally and mentally train you to become better lawyers of the future. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you so much for your advice, sir. Finally, the time has arrived, and I'm sure every participant is waiting for the results of Second LI National Moot Court Competition. So, I'm also so glad to inform all of the judges panel that over 100+ students have participated in the competition. So let's not keep the participants more awaited. I would like to request Honorable Dr. Justice Jayachandran to please announce the results of the runner-up.
So do I do it like how they do it with the Oscars? So the runner-up team in today's final round is LI NVMCC'22. Is that one?
Yes, sir. We have the runner-up team over here with us. We congratulate 02 to be the runner-up of the Second LI National Moot Court Competition.
So congratulations to them. And all
Speakers, would you like to say something?
I would just, because I announced
Yes,
it, I think I would, they see both the teams were pretty close. It's not that one was way ahead of the other. In fact, both of them were pretty close. And of course, one of them, probably one team had a tougher option to defend than the other. Of course, but all these small things out of experience, we could notice that these are the small things that make a difference. So anyway, both the teams have done very, very well. And likewise, the other teams have also done well. But today, in today's mood, I think we found this, one of them was better than the other. So anyway, all the best for all the participants, especially the runner-up and the winner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Honorable Mr. Justice Vijay C. Daga, sir, to announce the result of winner.
Winner team is LI NVMCC 04. 04 are the winners. So congratulations.
Congratulations to team code 04. We have
Thank
a
you,
speaker. Yes, we have the whole team over here. Team, would you like to say something?
Thank you, sir. Thank your lordships. It was an absolute pleasure pleading before this bench.
Is it that jet train who said thank you?
She was going to catch
Thank
the
you so much. Thank you, lordship. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Shona.
Thank you.
Now I would like to request Mr. Naveen Kumar Murthy, sir, to announce the results of Best Memorial and Best Researcher.
The best memorial goes to NVMCC number 115. Congratulations. And the best researcher goes to NVMCC number 27. Congratulations to all the winners.
To the winners. We don't have him here. All right, so congratulations to all the winners. You all have done a great job in the round, starting from the preliminary to the final round. Further, I take this honor to propose a vote of thanks. I, Riddhi Jindal, on behalf of Team Law Internships, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the esteemed panel for taking out time from their busy schedule and joining us today for the valedictory ceremony of 2nd LI National Moot Court Competition 2020-22. The participants present here must have surely taken away a lot of insights from your experiences. I would also like to congratulate all the winners of the competition and the participants on their great success. Last but not the least, I want to acknowledge the hard work of the organizing committee, technical committee, and the management of Law Internships for making this competition a grand success. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on board. Thank you.
Very best, very well done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
We look forward to have a physical meeting with all the judges very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Mrs. Daga, sir, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar.